most vocal guys after the game, talking about how, as a leader and as an elder guy on this team, that you guys have to step up and change some of the things you saw that maybe affected how you played against Kansas. Has that been implemented this week? Have you guys started doing that? Is there more conversations this week as you guys try to play up to Oklahoma's level of play?
Yeah, I think Kennedy touched on it some in his meeting. I didn't really feel like talking about it then, but Kennedy mentioned playing down to our opponents. No disrespect to Kansas or anything like that, but this week, or so far this week, we've been emphasizing competition. Just straight out there going to compete. Trying to bring back that fall camp mindset, as if we're 0-0 again. And so I think we've done a good job of that, especially today. So we'll get some more of that competition tomorrow, and we're looking to make sure that carries over into Saturday, that we make sure that we play to our standard of football.
Good luck, man.
John Over.
Hey, Jeremiah, wondering if you guys do you guys keep track of loafs on the field?
Yeah, we keep.
Unfortunately, yeah. So what I'm wondering is, did you see more on Saturday? Not to call anybody out or anything, but did you see more on Saturday than usual, or was it a typical number?
I wouldn't necessarily say I saw many physical loafs, but I did see more mental loafs than anything. A lot of times I think we play hard. I know we play hard. I know our guys go out there with the right intentions, but this late in the season, we shouldn't have as many blown plays as we have. We shouldn't have as many, blown assignments that we had. So we've been trying to emphasize that this week. So, but to answer your question, yeah, it was a little bit more than normal.
What's a mental loaf? I'm curious.
Just messing up on a play. Like, if somebody's supposed to be in the B gap, for instance, on defense, and they end up in the C gap, that's not necessarily a loaf, but that's a mistake. It's an error. So mistakes, loafs, same category.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Jay Carlson.
Hey, Jeremiah, we had a chance to talk to Lincoln and Alex, obviously, just now. And Lincoln said at one point, hey, sky's not falling. You guys are still winning ball games. You're still in it. But, Alex talked about, hey, time is starting to run out here. Where do you sort of fall on just where you guys are and where you could potentially get this season?
I always like to keep things in perspective. I've never been 8-0, and I said that last week. So I can smile, I can keep my head up about that. But like Alex and like Coach Riley said, we don't have much time to continue to say that we have time, that we're gonna be able to fix these things. So it's not that I'm pressuring my guys to hurry up and act right and be perfect, but at the same time, we do have a little bit more urgency, especially from the older guys, because the older guys can understand. The younger guys are still figuring stuff out. Caleb, he's figuring his own role out, so it's not like I'm out there on Caleb every day, but I'm looking at guys like Marquise Hayes. I'm talking to guys like Tyrese. I'm talking to guys like Braden. They understand the urgency that I'm talking about because they've been through it with me. And so those are the older guys that I'm talking to about making sure that we lead and get everybody to have that same urgency. So I'm a little bit in the middle. I'm not changing anything drastically. I'm not making excuses for anybody or anything like that, but I do understand what's at hand. I know that we have to play better.
Hey, Lincoln said on the plane ride home, he watched the film, and without sort of the emotion of the game from Saturday, it wasn't as sort of dire as it felt. I know you guys have probably watched that film now too. And how does it feel as you've watched it yourself again after Saturday's game?
Well, this goes back to putting things in perspective, right? So in the first quarter, we had 8 plays, but it felt like as offense. But from an offensive perspective, when Oklahoma has 0 points in the first quarter, it just looks ugly. We had 15 or 17 in the first half. Again, you have 0 points and it just looks ugly. But at the same time, we didn't really have many opportunities, and we didn't capitalize on the ones that we had. So putting things in perspective is making sure everyone knows that, hey, you know, one, we didn't have the ball much, and two, we just got to fix small errors. So um, that's that's what I mean by putting things in perspective. That's how I handle it.
Thank you.
Hey, Jeremiah, I know, early in the season, you guys had those tight, close wins over Tulane and Nebraska and West Virginia. And, it was one of those things where glass half full. It was like, hey, you guys are learning from all of this and you're hoping that that can help you down the line. But as the close games continue, is there potentially a concern that maybe that's just kind of your guys' identity at this point, to where you just kind of play those close games and not necessarily get to the point where you're able to separate as much as you guys maybe have in the past?
You can never go into any college football game with the expectation that you're going to blow anybody out. Whether it be Kansas that we play close and win, or whether it be an SEC opponent or the Big 12 championship, or the playoffs that we play close and win. At the end of the day, a win is a win. I can't predict how games will go in the future, and I can't even say that we're going to blow out Texas Tech this weekend. Like that's no expectation. Our expectation is to go out there and play good football. And so if right now, we're winning games at the end, granted it's not the perfect way, but at the end of the day, this week, the goal is to be 9-0, and then we'll handle it next week. So I don't know what the future holds, but I just want to be 9-0 next week.
And I get that. Sorry, I have one quick follow-up. I will throw this out there. Is there concern, though, that maybe you guys are playing a type of football that may not be sustainable for the long run, to where you can get to that 9-0, 10-0, 11-0? Is that, I know that you're happy about being 8-0, and you should be, absolutely. But is there that thought, okay, if we keep playing this way, maybe we're not going to get to that 9-0, 10-0, 11-0?
I would say that's definitely a thought. That's not something that you can say that it's easy to ignore, but at the same time, it's just a thought. It's not like I can go to my teammates and say, hey, like, if we keep doing this, it's not gonna last. Because if we had said this, let's just say week 3 or week 4, it's not gonna last, and here we are 8-0. So I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. I know that this isn't the type of football I want to continue to play. This isn't something I want to take into the Big 12 championship or the college football playoffs or bowl season or the rest of the season. All I know is that we just got to be better. But at the end of the day, we're finding ways to win games, and that's what I'm hanging my hat on right now.
All right, thanks, man.
Jesse Crittenden.
Hey, Jeremiah, thanks for being here, man. You mentioned it after the game on Saturday. You had that near fumble at some point in the game, but you were able to come back and have that touchdown catch, late in the game. That was pretty big. Does that kind of have an impact, you think, on your team? As a captain, you had that near fumble, but you were able to kind of hang in the game and still make a big play like that.
Yeah, it actually had more impact than I thought, especially on the younger guys. I had a good amount of my teammates say, wow, we've never seen that from Jay Hall. That was my first career fumble in high school or college. So, but they did also mention the touchdown at the end. And I think that it showed resilience. I'm not saying that it's good to go out there and fumble every game, but I think it was good for the young guys to see, like, hey, like, he made a mistake. Coach still had faith in him to stay in the game, and then he goes out there and scores a touchdown. So I didn't really think about that until after the game, but I know it did impact some of our young guys, and I'm glad that I could be an example to keep my head up and keep playing good football.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Jason Kersey.
Hey, Jeremiah, I know obviously you don't play defense, but as a team captain, when you look at what you guys have on defense, are you confident that group can improve and play better than they've played the last couple of weeks?
Absolutely. My confidence in our defense has never wavered throughout the entire season. I know they have the ability to be better. I know they're battling some injuries right now, especially in the secondary, but that's no excuse. I do have the confidence in those guys that they'll be able to turn it around. So it's up to those boys. I don't really know what they do. I don't spend time with them, but they definitely have the ability. They just got to go out there and execute.
Do you guys as offensive guys, you mentioned only having 3 possessions in the first half. A lot of that's because they were having trouble getting off the field. Is that frustrating to be there on the sideline and not get those opportunities?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. It is frustrating because they're out there, 7-8 minutes runs off the clock in the first quarter, and you're like, man, it doesn't help that we threw an interception, and so we're just waiting out there to get back out there to redeem ourselves. And so when they can't get off the field, it's frustrating. But at the same time, from a defensive perspective, when you've held any team to 7 points or 10 points, and we haven't put up any points, they're probably frustrated with the offense. So frustration is all around, man. There's nobody you can blame. That's why we're a team, and that's why we support each other.